traumatic issues in the book. So please share your journey, if you would, and tell us what the book helped you do and get through, and what message the rest of us.
Sure. Well, as Susan was mentioning, when she sat down and really got quiet with herself and started to write, her life took a path, and she suddenly was on a journey that she hadn't even expected, which led her to actually starring in her own film. And that's often what happens when women come to me and they write books, is that they're so sure that this is the book they're supposed to write. They're so clear that this is what's supposed to happen. And then when we start to unpack and start to really look at what they've been through, what their experiences have been, who they really are, they start to realize there's another journey that's actually unfolding for them that they were almost scared to face. Because as women, we're almost a little bit fearful of how incredibly powerful and amazing we have the potential to be. We tend to play small, and we tend to be so busy, like we're always, well, I'm doing this for me, and I'm building this business for me, or I'm buying this house for me, or I'm raising these children for me, but it's really only half for you, because it's always attached to other people and other outcomes. And so when you write a book, you're really writing the book just for you. It's just yours. It's nobody else's. Nobody else is putting their ass in that seat but you every single day. And so what happened for me was, after working in the movie business for 20 years and making everybody else's stories, I basically had a complete and total emotional meltdown where there was something in my life that I wasn't looking at, and it was too painful. And I had a dream one night that I had been sexually abused, and woke up and just knew that if I didn't start writing about this, that I was never going to become the woman I really needed to be. And this was, I'm 48 now, so this is when I was 42. And I started writing the book. Concurrently, I started going to these coaching events, these like $297, come for the weekend and find out who you are, And I was like, sounds good to me, So when I was producing movies, the movie business is really difficult for women. I know this is an entertainer. There's a lot of women here that are in entertainment. When you're 25 and you're producing a movie and everybody else is men, you don't get vulnerable and emotional, and nobody is coaching you. Okay, at the end of the night, you go home and you have a massive glass of wine, perhaps smoke a huge joint, and the next day you get up and you do it all over again. You do not tap into who you are. You do not have emotional arcs. So I show up at this business event in Arizona, and it's all these women, money coaches and, breath coaches and all these coaches, and I get up and I'm like, I have no idea anything about who I am. I'm $20,000 in debt. I'm a single parent. I just start sobbing in front of these women. And the business coach, her name is Kendall Summerhawk, just looks at me and says, you're going to be a book coach, and you're going to help women tell the stories that they've never been able to tell. And I was like, I don't even know what a book coach is. And she goes, you're going to go home and you're going to figure it out. And 1 week later, I signed my first client. And it changed, and I haven't looked back since. And I've walked 20 women so far through incredible stories. And what happens is, when they start writing, I'll get these phone calls from them, and they'll say, somebody just offered me this trip to Ecuador to do like the first TED Talk on domestic violence. And this came out of nowhere. And I'm like, no, nothing ever comes out of nowhere. It's because you sat down, you got willing, you were passionate, you had urgency, and it's the now. And that's the thing about writing the book, is you need to do it now. So although my book's about sexual abuse, it's not about like the dirty details. It's about how I got serious, how I got busy, and how I got passionate about talking about what happened to me and how I live my life now. And I have to say, in the 6 years since I've written the book, I'm a completely radically different person than the person I was for the first 42 years. And I'm super excited. I hope I'm directing shorts at 75. I'm like, and all the women on this panel have such amazing ways to talk about doing your story, but for me, writing a book just seems to be the way to tap into yourself in that deep, deep, deep emotional way. So,
Thank you.